for joining, watching, listening. We're totally stoked you're here. And I want you to subscribe because, one, we have great content. Two, we have really amazing guests for interviews here that are very cool, kind of like behind the scenes. And three, the jokes. Oh my God. You're like, they're a little bit of a grimace on the jokes. I agree. But here, we'll get it out of the way, and then we're going to hop into our new series. Here's your joke for today. Why couldn't the pirate play cards? Because he was sitting on the deck. I know. That's awful. Could be worse. I've had a lot worse. But we're going to start a series. I'm really happy, excited about this series called Journeys with Jesus. I love this series. I'm totally stoked about it because I think it's very practical for us in a lot of different ways. So today we're going to talk about traveling and walking with Jesus. And as we think about that, I want you to just take a moment in your head and consider where are some of the places you know that Jesus traveled when he lived here in human skin. He traveled. So then think about it. He walked. He walked to all of these places. He walked to Jerusalem. He walked from Bethlehem, or maybe he rode probably. He kind of grew up in Nazareth. He walked around the Sea of Galilee, which is up north, Capernaum, which is right on the sea. He walked, and you go down to the Jordan River. He walked that. He was around the Dead Sea. He walked through Samaria. He walked, and he did a lot of walking. Some historians, theologians say he walked over 3,000 miles. And it's interesting when you look at where Jesus walked and you kind of see it on a map, it doesn't make sense. It seemed like he meandered, and there's no like rhyme or reason or he did this and then he went here. And it's not like an efficient straightest distance between 2 points. He went this way. It's like he just kind of went back and forth, and he visited some places multiple times. So like Bethany, where Lazarus, Martha, and Mary lived, he went there a couple of times. And he went to Jerusalem a couple of times. He hung out at Capernaum and traveled. So he went back and forth. He went to Samaria, Sychar, which is the woman at the well. And one of the things we see with all of this walking is that destinations for Jesus were not as important as people. And I think that's a really important takeaway for us in our modern world. Because if you're like me, I'm all about shortest distance, quickest flights, fastest way, trying to get and be efficient and get to your destination. I don't like to be going all over the place, circuitous and this way and that way. And, like if I have to fly overseas, and you wind up doing this when you fly overseas. Either you pay in time or you pay in money. So if you want to get there quickly, then you're going to pay money. If you want to get there cheaply, then you're going to pay time. And that's kind of how that's how I think. And you think about it like driving, road trip. So we think about efficiencies for money and or time. But Jesus didn't prioritize the money or the time. Jesus prioritized the people. Because where he went was more about people, not necessarily the city, the town, the destination. So for example, in John chapter 4, verse 4, it says he had to go through Samaria. Well, technically he didn't have to, but he had to because he had an appointment with the Samaritan woman at the well. He had an appointment with the person. And because of that appointment with the person, then he could speak to the whole town, Sychar. And he stayed there for 4 days, and the whole town basically became followers of Jesus because of his appointment with the woman at the well. And so I want us to think about that in terms of our daily living and our walking. And let's be conscientious that for God, people are more important than just destinations or achievements or efficiencies. Thankfully, Jesus came to the earth, emptied himself of all of the divine things, became fully God as though he were not man, fully man as though he were not God, incarnate, to walk among us. Because God desires connection with you and with me because of God being love. And so when we think about that, then people become drastically more important than just what we can achieve, what we can accomplish, where we go, any of that stuff, efficiencies. Let's remember that Jesus came because Jesus, he's loving skin, connecting with people. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening. Of course, I want you to hit the notification bell right there and keep you posted when we put up new content. And here's a question for you to answer right here in the comments. And of course, I want you to share this video and share the series, because this is going to be a really powerful series. But the question to answer now is, where do you most easily recognize Jesus? If Jesus is walking among us, if Jesus is in our daily living, in what context do you most easily recognize Jesus? You're like, what? Well, you have to think about it, but answer right there. So keep in touch, because next week we're going to do a new episode for the series. It's going to be super powerful. Thanks again for watching and listening.